Hello and welcome. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Sanket Upadhyay. It is curtains on a very old case, a property dispute which then became a matter of faith, then a matter of legality and then a subject matter of politics. Before the 17th of November, the Supreme Court will pronounce its verdict on who owns the disputed land in Ayodhya, but mediation attempts had gone on and a report has now been submitted to the Supreme Court. The Waqf Board, one of the litigants, are now deeply divided on their position. Let's now quickly pull up those graphics on screen to tell you what exactly has happened. First of all, there are three main litigants in the land title suit. You've got the Nirmohi Akhada, the Sunni Waqf Board and Ram Lala Virajman, or the deity Ram Lala. Now what has the Waqf Board said? We'll put out those graphics on screen. The Waqf Board, sources say in a letter to the mediation panel, has said that they have no objection to the acquisition of the disputed site by the government. Provisions of the 1991 Act for Protection of All Places of Worship should be strictly implemented. That's one of the conditions that the Waqf Board reportedly seems to be keeping in lieu of their removal of objection. The main parties who signed this include the Sunni Waqf Board, Nirvani Akhada, the parent body of Nirmohi Akhada, Ram Janmabhoomi by Shankaracharya of Dwarka and the Hindu Mahasabha. The Waqf Board can submit select list of the Archaeological Survey of India, and these are the conditions. ASI mosques and committee appointed by the court will finalize the same for offering worship. As of now, the ASI sites are out of bounds for people to offer their prayers. Now, subsequently, what has happened is that there are many people within the Sunni Waqf Board who have now come out and said that no, our offer or any such talk of us offering to have no objections is false. We will continue to let the Supreme Court decide this matter for us, which is before the 17th of November. In this case, it is also very crucial to be known that you will have a molding of relief, which is another 3 days for all the stakeholders to give their suggestions to the Supreme Court as to what do they really expect from this case in terms of relief. Now, only then will the court come out with its judgment. At this moment, let me quickly introduce my guests. I've got Arunachalam Vaidyanathan with me. He's been tracking this case day in and day out for 40 long days. Vaidya, what a long journey for you. Has this been the longest case of your life or some other case which you may have covered for so long?
There are other cases, the overnight hearing.
Yeah, but for 40 days straight, this is the only one. Okay. Aarti Jairath is here. Aarti, thank you so much for coming. Tehseen Poonawalla in the studio with me, as well as Geeta Bhatt. She's a political analyst. We have some other guests also joining us outside of the studio. But before I go to them, let me play out this interaction I had with another interesting person who gave a suggestion to the Muslim stakeholders, the Sunni Central Waqf Board, by telling them, why don't you give the land as a gift to the majority community to build a temple, because that will be the only intelligent thing to do as of this moment. Because just in case, imagine a situation that you win the court case, there will still be no scope for you to build a mosque on that disputed site. I spoke to Lieutenant General Zamiruddin Shah. Let's play out that conversation. My first question to you is, you have always believed that attempting to find a solution in this case is very important because, as you said in the past also, this seems to be a losing argument for the Muslims. So what, according to you, was the best thing to do instead of contesting this in court?
No, I don't think there's a losing argument. I think it is an argument for sensibility. I mean, for using senses. I feel that in a court verdict, there'll be a winner and a loser. We should not have any losers. We should all have winners. And I say never give up. I am aware that this is rather late in the day, but still we have never given up, and we feel that an out-of-court settlement would be the best for the country, for the amity of the country, and for increasing the Muslim-Hindu brotherhood.
Now, Lieutenant General Shah, there are reports coming in that the mediation panel report has been submitted, and one of the points that is being spoken about, and this is by way of sources, is that the Sunni Waqf Board will not have any objection in handing over or allowing the government to acquire the site. Do you see this as some sort of a breakthrough? However, there is a rider. Not all stakeholders agree to this solution.
Well, certainly this offer is very sensible, but what you have not mentioned is the riders. The two important riders are, firstly, there should be no repeat of what happened in Ayodhya. The Muslims want cast iron guarantees that this will never happen again. And secondly, what we want is the teeth should be given to the Preservation of Places of Worship Act, the Amendment Act 1991. I think it does not have teeth enough. It is a very weak law and anybody can violate it with impunity. So we want it to become more stringent. I think in case these two things are met, the Muslim personal law, the people who have agreed to hand over the land are well within their rights. That is the Sunni Waqf Board.
Now, Lieutenant General Shah, your own suggestion that the land be gifted for the construction of a temple to the majority community has been greeted with a lot of skepticism, particularly by stakeholders in the Muslim side. Were you expecting this, and do you feel that this will only go ahead and create animosity and not find an amicable solution?
I was expecting a backlash. I have received a lot of messages saying that what I am wrong, but what they don't know is that 10 times more I have received messages of support from a wide cross-section of Muslims who do not want to come out openly, but they have sent me messages saying that the stand we have taken for a compromise, for amity, for peace in the country is absolutely correct.
Well, the Muslim stakeholders, Lieutenant General Shah, say that mediation cannot mean that we give up our claim. How would you respond to that? Because the feeling is that they're giving up. They're giving up the fight.
No, we are not giving up the fight. We are adopting a sensible approach. Giving up a fight is in case you win and then are not able to reconstruct the mosque, which I have told them is an impossibility. That would be giving up. That would be surrender. After winning, surrender. Before a court verdict, if we reach an agreement, it is not giving up the fight. It is just a move towards peace and amity.
All right. Lieutenant General Shah, my final question to you before I let you go. There are, in fact, murmurs that usually when people try mediating and try offering solutions, perhaps, and more so in a case like this, they may be doing it out of some interest, political interest, if you were, particularly in this case. Have you ever been pressurized or told to say what you do or the suggestion that you gave by a particular political party or political interests?
Let me make it clear. I have never been pressurized right during my service of 40 years in the army and also when I was Vice Chancellor of Aligarh Muslim University, because people know me well enough. I will not, I repeat, never and not ever succumb to pressure.
All right, let's deep dive into a discussion now on what are the possibilities. No, we are not going to discuss what the verdict is going to be. That is going to be decided by the court, but its political impact, what does this mean for the stakeholders? Karthik Chopra is the spokesperson of the Nirmohi Akhada. He is with us. SQR Ilyas is the advocate and member of the Muslim Personal Law Board. He is also with us. Mr. Zafar Sareshwara, the former Chancellor of the Maulana Azad National Urdu University, will also join us in just a short moment. Thank you, all of you, ladies and gentlemen, for being a part of this discussion. Let me begin with you, Karthik. Now, you have seen that suggestions are
Yes.
being made, Karthik, on a number of occasions. Of course, there is deep division within the Muslim Personal Law Board, beg your pardon, the Sunni Central Waqf Board, where there are reports and suggestions that they will not have a problem if the land is acquired by the government, to a point where there are other stakeholders who are saying that absolutely we'll have a problem. We will continue to wait for the court's verdict. At a time like this, my fundamental question, and I'll ask this of Mr. Ilyas also, do you think mediation could have avoided this problem? I mean, right now with a court verdict, as Lieutenant General Zamiruddin Shah said, there will be a victor and there will be a loser. A mediation would have ensured an amicable solution.
See, as far as our Akhada is concerned, we participated in the first round of mediation because we had hoped to have direct discussions with the Sunni Central Waqf Board, which is the other party contesting title. That did not happen and was reported by our lawyers to the Honorable Court as well. Thereafter, in the second round of mediation, our panchas decided that we will not be participating because we are already involved in the hearings in the Honorable Supreme Court. And till we present our full hearings and are able to present our case in full, we are not going to take any alternative stand at any other location. As far as all these Muslim organizations are concerned who are offering to give up, it's a very noble thought. If the Sunni Central Waqf Board, we have not been informed by them officially or by anybody else, if the Sunni Central Waqf Board is willing to give up its suit in favor of Nirmohi Akhada, we welcome that. If not, then we will just wait for the Honorable Supreme Court to pass its judgment, which will come within the next 4 weeks. After such a marathon hearing and so much of effort put in by the Honorable Judges, so much of time of the Honorable Supreme Court being taken over this issue, at this stage, they have come out with this proposal apparently, and that also is a divided house because half of them are saying that we are against it.
Correct.
Half of them say we are for it. Their chairman has one view, nobody has any view. And if he gives up in favor of who? The moment you say we want to give up, it opens up another Pandora's box that who will take possession?
Acquisition by the government.
That is their view. Please go back. No, please go back to that entire 2.77 acres. Within that 2.77 acres, originally it was only the inner, so-called inner courtyard area which was in dispute, which was attached on 5/1/1950. The outer courtyard got attached later. The remaining area got attached after the demolition of 11 temples of the Nirmohi Akhada, which were situated there, including Lakshman Jansthan. This was done during Kalyan Singh government's time. We challenged this acquisition, which was done supposedly for public purposes, along with 5 other Muslim parties. High Court in UP struck down this acquisition on the 11th of December 1992. Later, we have the Ismail Farooqi judgment and others, which clearly say that whoever is the winning endowment out of these title suits which are ongoing in Supreme Court will be able to get back all as much land as it requires to build whatever be its religious structure. Now, why should we agree to giving up that acquired land? The Nirmohi Akhada's panchas had clearly directed when the central government had filed an application earlier this year to give up the acquired land. Just a second, to give up the acquired land. They had said that they hand over some of this land to another organization. Our panchas have opposed this and instructed our lawyers to please kindly file objection. That is still lying in the Honorable Court. Therefore, the whole issue is give up in favor of who? If you are going to give up to the Nirmohi Akhada, we as the Shabiyats of Bhagwan Shri Ram Lalla Virajman are very happy to accept your giving up in our favor.
Okay, but had that been the case, then this matter could have been settled amicably in the past also. It would not have reached the Supreme Court. Mr. SQR Ilyas, let me come to you now.
The Sunni Central Waqf Board is always welcome to clarify what it has to say, who they want to give up to.
Okay, Mr. Ilyas, now I'm only talking about this confusion which has now come about, particularly as far as the Muslim stakeholders are concerned. What do you make of this? There is obviously a sense of confusion.
No, you know, Sunni Central Waqf Board is not one-man body. It is comprising of 7 to 8 people. So it was not a unanimous decision, and that too it has not come before the Supreme Court. So I cannot say anything on that because Sunni Central Waqf Board is a body of 7 to 8 people. If they want to involve in negotiation or if they want to surrender, whatever they want to do, that has to be taken by the entire Waqf Board, and that should be a unanimous decision.
So you are saying this means nothing?
So Waqf Board is not it is nothing. It is nothing, almost nothing.
But don't you worry that this will send out a very wrong message of deep division within your own ranks? That you don't speak in unison?
They don't have
No,
a
no, it is
unified
not a
position.
division. In this particular case, there are 8 litigants from Muslim side. Sunni Central Waqf Board is one of that. So, Sunni, and secondly, it is not the decision of the Sunni Central Waqf Board. It is the decision of one person, that is chairman of the board, and that too that has not come before the Supreme Court. So we cannot say anything. These are some. Okay, whatever the case, these are the rumors. So he has not confirmed that he has said that thing.
No, no, one moment, Mr. Ilyas, you are saying that he is the chairman, and on the other hand, you are saying these are rumors. Can you please clarify as of this moment? I hope you realize that this is a very serious case. When you relegate this,
all right.
When you do not clarify and say that these are rumors that may be from the chairman, no less the chairman. Can you clarify what is your official position?
Listen to me. Yes.
Officially, nothing has been communicated to us by the Sunni Central Waqf Board.
Since the morning,
nobody has communicated anything to us
This thing was coming out. This thing was coming out in the channels that Mr. Sunni Central Waqf Board is withdrawing the case. But such type of thing has not come before the court today. So how can unless it has not come before the court, how can we say it can be a rumor? Unless it is placed before the court and court would have received this, that Sunni Central Waqf Board
as of this moment, this will go down as some sort of a this will be seen as deep division in your ranks. This will be seen, Mr. Ilyas, as nothing but deep division.
No, it is not a division at all. It is not a division at all.
Okay. Karthik Chopra as well as Mr. Ilyas, I'm going to come back to you in just a short moment. Let me now quickly come back to my guests in the studio. The politics of it, right? Vedya, we're going to get into the legality in just a short moment, but first the politics of it. Aarti Jairath, Tehseen Poonawala as well as Dr. Bhatt. Do you feel that this third dimension, one is the aspect of faith, the other is the aspect of legality, and the third is the aspect of politics. Do you think it's this third aspect which will have its bearing or its impact post the 17th of November or whenever this verdict comes out, particularly for a party like the Bharatiya Janata Party?
No, absolutely, Sanket. The Bharatiya Janata Party has made this into their issue since 1986, following the Palampur resolution. And it has included the construction of a Ram temple in Ayodhya in every manifesto since 1989. So it is very clearly, although they claim it's a matter of faith, but it really goes beyond faith. It is really a political issue. The rise of the BJP can be attributed to the fact that they picked up this issue and made it into their main plank from 1989 onwards. If you remember, if you go back to the history of the Jansangh, the revocation of Article 370 was their core issue, but they never ever became a big party in all those years using this issue. It was only when the BJP picked up Ram Mandir that the BJP's rise actually started. So it is very much a political issue, and I would like to go back to what the Prime Minister said in an interview just before the elections, where he was asked this question on the Ram temple, and he was asked about the demands from the RSS that they should bring in a law to build the Ram temple, and he said very clearly that he will wait for the judicial process to be over, and after that the government will do what it thinks necessary or what it deems fit. And to my mind, I mean, if I read between the lines, I think he was keeping the window open to,
so let the court decide what they have to, and then there will be a political decision.
There will be a political decision, and the government will be very much within its right to, in any case, the land is with the government. The government acquired it during Narasimha Rao's tenure. The land is with the government, and the government can then pass a law to build a temple, which is, I think, what the BJP would like to do. It is a long held promise, and they would like to fulfill it. Like they have fulfilled Article 370, they do another one. Another one of the core agendas.
Provided there is a favorable verdict.
Tick the box.
Provided there is a
whatever the verdict.
Whatever the verdict.
Whatever the verdict.
We are not going to get into what the verdict is going to be.
Exactly. I don't know what the verdict is, but I think that as far as the government is concerned, it would be within, I mean, I think Mr. Vaidyanathan can correct me if I'm wrong, but it would be within the government's purview to, sort of, since it has the line with it, it can just reiterate the acquisition and then, pass a law to build the temple.
Tehseen.
You know, I honestly don't know where to begin and where to end. So let's get a couple of things. I mean, I'll start from where Aarti ended with the Honorable Prime Minister's interview. What the Honorable Prime Minister therefore is saying is the same man who waxed eloquence about the majesty of the Honorable Supreme Court has basically no respect for the Honorable Supreme Court should the judgment go against what is the promise of the BJP. He will then bring in a law to build a temple. So his way or no way. There is no even, there is no highway.
We are dealing in hypotheticals here.
Please make my point. Now, obviously, the BJP's rise has been meteoric because of the Ram Mandir. So, they've kept Ram ji in a tent, and that's been their meteoric rise. But the larger point has been this. Now, I want all your viewers to bear with me. Let us imagine a hypothetical situation where a chief minister, in this case Kalyan Singh was the BJP chief minister, promises the Honorable Supreme Court that a temple, I'm using the word temple, will not be broken down. A mob then descends, breaks down the temple. Would that mob today be in power? No justice has been delivered. I'm not getting into dispute whether this was a mosque or what was it. A structure was broken down. That matter may be a criminal matter happening day to day. No justice has been served. Those people have continued to be in power. Would that happen with the Muslims? No. My entire constitutional rights were taken away. Point number 2. Now let's come to what Aarti says. The Prime Minister says, look, if nothing happens, we can then bring in a law. It's happened with some. Between the lines.
Quote him properly and quote me properly.
No. I mean, read between the lines. Now, that's in Sabrimala. We've had none less than the BJP president taking a completely different stand on the Supreme Court. Now, let's come to the point. This is not just a Hindu-Muslim dispute. Legally, this dispute is also a Hindu-Hindu dispute between the Nirmoy Akhada, which Kartik represents, and Ram Lalla, which is being represented starting with Agarwal and other people who claim ownership
Ram Lalla is ours only. We are
absolutely. I'm coming to that. Ram Lalla is yours. You've also claimed that. I completely agree with that.
Of Ram Lalla.
I agree with that. I agree. So there is a
claim to be
Vaidyanathan, Mr. Vaidyanathan and Mr. Prasanna have claimed otherwise, but I agree that you've also made that claim that you all are the original representatives of Ram Lalla. So there is that dispute as well, which is why even they went that there shouldn't be a three-way division. Why is this continuously being portrayed as a Hindu-Muslim? And Kartike is right. I agree with Kartike. If the Sunni Waqf Board gives up the land in favor of whom? Nirmoy Akhada or Ram Lalla? In favor of whom? What is this? This is a civil dispute, in my opinion. And there's a criminal act that was involved in a structure raise. When will justice for that happen?
Okay.
When will we get justice for that? Why should that justice not come?
Dr. Bhatt, before I get into the legal aspect, my question to you is the Bharatiya Janata Party's promise in its manifesto and the language which changed periodically, right? I want to know from you your assessment. If you allow me very briefly, I want to read out since 1996 how the wording on Ram Temple promise changed for the BJP. So in 1996 in their manifesto they said that there will be a magnificent Ram temple at the Janmsthan in Ayodhya on coming to power, as this is the dream that moves millions of people in our land. In 1998 the BJP's manifesto says the BJP will explore, a new word added, all consensual, legal and constitutional means to facilitate the construction, right? Then in 2004, it says BJP reaffirms its commitment to the construction of Ram Temple. No promise, no extra adjectives, nothing. Again in 2009, the BJP says it will explore all possibilities, including negotiations and judicial proceedings to facilitate the construction of the Ram Temple. In 2014, they say that they reiterate their stand to explore all possibilities within the framework of the constitution to facilitate the construction of the Ram Temple, a language they retained in their 2019 manifesto as well. Do you think that there was an attempt by the Bharatiya Janata Party to initially sell this as their big pole plank, then later realizing that maybe this issue is not working out, and thus you see it slowly evaporating from the manifesto, and then it coming back with all the legal, adjectives that have been put in the manifesto?
Sanket, to begin with, first, since you put it forth that we are not going to go into what would be the judgment.
No.
So, however,
my question is on the basis of this manifesto.
No, what I am saying is that there were the other panelists actually came forward with this hypothesis. If this happens, then what is going to be the result? So, I am not going to go into that.
Sure, absolutely.
And the fact remains that while it has been a long wait of 500 years, and it seems that now somehow the Indian society and Indian people, they have reached that stage of vindication while this closing of the hearing of one of the longest running cases has taken place. The fact remains that there is, first of all, it is the cultural ethos of this nation which have been stood to the, or which have been standing through this judicial interrogation all this while. And one political party, any XYZ, one political party, it stands along with it reinstating of the culture, because when we talk about the Ayodhya temple, it is not just about faith. It is also about reinstating our Indian heritage and Indian culture, and that is one of the buildings. Now please don't, I did not
by demolishing other buildings.
It is not,
and giving a false affidavit to Supreme Court.
There was a Ram temple over there.
I'm saying you gave an affidavit to the Honorable Supreme Court, a building won't be demolished.
Why is it that there are certain people who are Indian citizens, and why is it that there are certain people who call themselves Indian citizens but want to stand along with someone who was an invader, who did not live here, who did not die here, and this is what is being discussed over here.
That is
now,
contempt of
the
court.
point is that it is also that there was an Indian government which gave an affidavit to the Supreme Court and said that it is going to, if it is found that there was a temple over there, they are going to help facilitate the construction of the temple. Narasimha Rao government has given this affidavit. It was also an Indian government who gave this. Right? Now the fact is that
BJP stopped that ordinance in Parliament or no?
Sanket, are we going to have some decorum in this discussion where I can complete my argument, or will there be interruptions like this?
Please, very quick.
You have been allowed your time to speak. Please let me complete.
Yes, very quickly.
Please let me complete. No, you're not letting me. I'm speaking on facts. What you were speaking was hypothesis. Let me tell you that.
Stopped the ordinance in Parliament.
The point is that while all this, the fact remains is that whatever arguments have taken place in the court in the last 40 days, the Muslim side arguments have been very, very weak, and the complete meltdown took place today. The way we saw a very esteemed, so-called esteemed lawyer, it was appalling to see someone tearing off just because they felt that the arguments are not going their way. Now the point is that what is important here to see is that India as a, will you please?
The Chief Justice said it.
Okay, now the point is,
it was permission taken.
No, one moment. I'll get a fact check on that also. Very quickly, if you could just conclude your. Yes.
My point is that I am not lying. You are the one who is lying.
No, Dr. Bhatt, Dr. Bhatt,
over what the reality is.
Please conclude. Yeah.
My conclusion is
that
there is one political party which stands with the temple, and there were many others who stood against the temple. But the fact remains that the Indian people, the Indian society, what they want, what was their aspirations.
I'm going to quickly come back to which political party stands where, and which political party as of this moment has declared mum as the word, because they're once bitten twice shy with Article 370 and the position that they've taken. I'll ask Tehseen also this question. Vaidya, let me now come to you. 40 long days. Right? I remember in the evening I asked you a question. It took more than a year for just the documents to be translated into English. Correct. When this matter came to the Supreme Court. If you can just chronicle for us stuff that people need to know about why this case is legally so important, not just for the courts but for everyone.
You see, if it's a property dispute in some other case, it would have been over within a week. It's just a property. There is no legal, constitution bench to sit in to interpret some sort of law. There's nothing like that. Since it's, as you said, politics, emotion, faith, everything is involved. So court said, let's see, initially people tried to object to it. You may recall Kapil Sibal saying when Mr.
Before the election.
Before the elections, he said, have it on 2019. So now finally, 40 long days. So Chief Justice is a very strict person. He never allows to give some nonsense statements or unnecessarily wasting the time. He kept quiet, and all the judges in the bench also kept quiet, because it's a very sensitive issue. Suppose if you stop someone, then other person will say. In fact, Dr. Rajiv Dhawan, day before yesterday, told the judges saying that you are asking only question to Muslim parties, why not Hindus? Yeah. So yesterday Chief Justice pacified Dhawan, saying that are we right, we are asking questions to Hindu side also. So this is very sensitive issue, it has to be handled very carefully. So that's why if you are known today, so a lot of things went on, today being the climax, just like a film, 40th day, so a huge crowd in the court, and one of the acrimony heated exchanges. Even Dr. Dhawan went on tearing some map of a book. And
What's the factual position on the tearing of the map?
see, factual position.
Was the map torn or not?
Yes, it was torn.
Okay.
It was torn. It was torn.
By whom?
By Dhawan.
Yeah, I will tell you. See,
I
Vikas
was
Singh
not
appeared
lying.
for
You
Hindu
are the one who
Mahasabha.
No,
He
I'm
quoted a
correct.
book.
Let him speak.
He quoted a
You are not
book,
letting
and Dhawan was saying that this is not on record, please don't take it. But Vikas Singh said he is not quoting, he is only showing the map. Then Dhawan objected to it. Then he said, I will tear it off. Chief Justice said, Dr. Dhawan, you can go ahead and tear it off. So he tore it off. Then after that, what happened? So this news went viral. In the post-lunch session, Dhawan came back and said, told Chief Justice saying that this is news going on virally. And one of the judges also said in the lunchtime they also saw it on TV. So Chief Justice said, you can issue a clarification saying that Chief Justice only said it with his permission, you tore it off.
Sanket, thank you.
No,
So am
why-
I speaking the truth?
No,
It's been
one
exposed
moment.
right
No,
here on this
no
channel.
conversation
been
on the
exposed.
sidelines,
The
please.
RSS is exposed
Yes,
on this channel.
one moment.
This is
Nobody-
a
Now
Deen
what
Dayal
is- what
Upadhyay
is-
WhatsApp
No,
University.
nobody wants anyone exposed.
Deen
Which
Dayal
university
Upadhyay
you
WhatsApp
want to? I
University.
don't want to ask, but I went to very reputed
Deen
Indian
Dayal Upadhyay
universities, and I am very
WhatsApp
proud of that.
University.
I don't know which
One
universities
moment.
you ever went to.
Point of legality over here, Vaidya. I want to know, and I think this will be of interest to a lot of people in this country. The Supreme Court has given 3 days for people to put forward their arguments or their version of what they feel will be relief. This method or this process is called molding of relief. For the benefit of our viewers, if you could tell us and educate us, what does this mean?
To make it simple,
Yeah.
suppose there is a compensation to be paid in any accident case.
First of all, does this happen in all cases?
Almost.
Okay.
So in civil cases, civil cases.
Okay.
So what happens, suppose there is an accident, compensation has to be paid, both parties are there. The person who has to pay, he will say, I will pay 10 lakhs. Then the judge may ask, what's your view? He may say, no, maybe 15 lakhs. So they will say, they will give their opinion what to do. Then finally court will decide an amount. This is before writing the judgment. So normally every judge will want to know what sort of relief they want, so that it can be reflected in the judgment. So this is the same thing they've asked. But interestingly, so all parties they want their own portion. They will be given to all the 3 parts to be given to them. So that's why mediation failed.
Yeah.
So what sort of relief they will?
Yeah.
Can the?
I mean, there
so
will be no molding. Forget about
exactly.
relief. Yeah.
Can the Sunni Waqf Board say no? We will take only 1/3. We will handle. Can they say it?
Okay. So the litigants now, the stakeholders now, Karthik, do you feel that mediation, molding of relief, Mr. Ilyas, this question is to you also. Karthik first. Molding of relief, do you see all tools? I mean, after this, every possible tool, legal tool in this country would have been exploited, would have been used. Do you feel that a chance should be given in the molding of relief to work out a formula, to work out a solution?
See, the molding, we are still working out with our lawyers what will be the molding of relief, what is it that we will present to the
So you're
Honorable
thinking
Court.
on those lines.
As far as mediation concerned, as far as mediation is concerned, I'm still saying one thing, that we have never ever had direct discussions with the Sunni Waqf Board face to face. So that is what our punches said about mediation. That never happened, where we had a one-on-one with them to understand what they wanted to do.
No, but what's stopping you? You can meet them.
We have
one-on-one.
always welcomed them to come, but they don't want to. We are always ready to meet them. It's an open invitation to them to have a direct discussion with them at any time.
Well, it's slightly late in the day, but
they have
Mr.
attended
Ilyas,
mediation for the second time. Our people, no, we have mentioned this from the beginning, not late in the day, since the beginning.
no, I'm saying now it's late in the day, but Mr.
Since
Ilyas, would you like to
2010,
explain?
since 2010, no. Before the judgment in the High Court in 2010, in writing,
just a minute.
we said the original 2 contesting parties, Nirmohi Akhada and Sunni Central Waqf Board, can have a discussion.
Well, how nice
this
would
was
that
given in
have been,
writing
Mr.
to
Ilyas?
Honorable Chief Justice Bharucha at that time.
Mr. Ilyas, how nice would that have been, where the 2 stakeholders would have met face to face with no intermediary and solved this?
Yes. We
I'm
were,
trying to make
no,
it
no,
sound utopian,
we were
but
also
I
of the
wonder
view
why
that,
this never happened.
Because the mediation committee did not do that. They met individually. They did not bring all the people together. So it is the fault of the mediation committee, not us. We were demanding that the parties should sit together and they should negotiate with each other in presence of mediation committee. But that has not happened. And secondly, as far as the molding of relief is concerned,
Exactly.
we are also sitting with our lawyers, and we will try to come out with something.
No,
But
I want to know,
definitely
Mr.
we
Ilyas,
want to make
as
it
of this
clear
moment,
that
to
as
all
far as
those who are
the-
watching this broadcast, Mr. Ilyas, can we expect any molding for there to be relief? Because right now, with the way the
Well,
mediations
we have
gone,
to give it in
No,
writing
no.
to the Honorable Court within the next 3 days. I think we can wait till then.
Of course we can. I'm not even asking you to reveal it on national television because you're supposed to give it to the court. But will this
Exactly.
be an option that you would be
Yes,
willing
definitely we
to
will give it to the court.
exercise? Okay, okay, fine. And I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to leave it there. Let me now
Yeah,
quickly
yes.
come back to yeah. You were saying something, Mr. Ilyas.
No, all right. We will submit to the court within 3 days, inshallah.
Okay, okay. Vedya,
Sanket, just
yes.
to get back to the politics of it, tell me, if tomorrow the government were to actually go ahead with this law, you know, once all this is sorted out and everything, would the Congress party oppose it? Would the Congress party oppose the law?
Let's ask this question.
You know, I mean, listen, who opened the locks?
Rajiv Gandhi.
Rajiv Gandhi. So, you know, I mean, actually, this whole thing, you know, began with the opening of the locks in 1986. So, not a question of credit. I'm just saying that can the Congress party actually oppose this kind of a law? I don't think it will. It's been absolutely mum so far. Every time Rahul Gandhi was asked this question during the election campaign, he did not reply.
Okay, Tehseen, now my point over here is for a Congress party
Yes.
which took a position on Article 370 and had a situation where half of your flock, like all senior leaders apart from the family, was speaking in a totally different voice. I mean, you have many leaders in Haryana, many leaders in Maharashtra, poll-bound states where they took a totally different, binary opposite line. Do you fear that within the Congress party, do you think there is a fear that let's keep quiet, let's at least wait till the verdict, and even post-verdict, let's keep quiet?
So,
Because you will not be able to firm up your opinion. I mean, the BJP's position we know.
no, you don't know the BJP's
How?
position. I will expose the BJP's position.
How? You
RT
look at
is-
their manifesto, it's crystal clear what they want.
May I-
They
I'll
want the
make my point.
construction of Ram Temple.
What the BJP says and what it does are two separate things. And clearly on this show, we just exposed one lie. So now let me start. Aarti is right. Rajiv Gandhi opened the locks. Not just did he open the lock, Rajiv Gandhi 2 days before he was there in a very famous interview said it, and it's on record, that I wish for a Ram Mandir to be constructed.
And later on, it was the same Congress, you
please.
know, when Ram
It was,
Setu
it was,
case,
it was,
they,
it
in
was,
the
it
Supreme
was,
Court, they said
later,
that Bhagwan Ram is an
PV
imaginary
Narasimha Rao,
figure.
PV
Isn't
Narasimha,
it so?
PV Narasimha Rao even brought in an ordinance which was blocked by the BJP. Now come back to today. Now I'll tell you why the BJP doesn't want this. Today, as of today,
They don't want Ram
I'll,
Mandir.
I'll tell you why with evidence. Vikas Singh, who's the representing one Hindu Paksh, not Nirmoy
Mahasabha.
Akhada Kartike, but the Hindu Mahasabha, comes in with these so-called maps. Why? Which is not on record. Only to delay because the argument would have gone further. Subramaniam Swamy comes in with an eye in a civic dispute. Where does an intervening application come in? There is a man,
that has
a
been
religious.
accepted by the court.
It's not been accepted.
It is
Please
not-
again,
why-
don't spread
how
fake
he
news.
can-
Subramaniam Swamy
how
was
is
asked to
it
leave.
possible for
Please
him
do
to
not
have
spread
been-
fake news. This
this
is
has
not
been
the Republic
included
of
with the
Nonsense.
cases.
Okay.
This is not the
Okay.
Republic of
One-
Nonsense.
one-
This is
one,
NDTV.
please. Very
Please, let's be
quickly.
factual here. Subramaniam Swamy
I
was
think
asked
you
to
need
leave.
to mind your language,
Now,
Tehseen ji.
no, I'm not
Please
talking
mind your
about you. I'm
language.
saying about
Tehseen, quickly,
you
please,
need
please.
to
One-
mind your
one minute.
language.
Interrupted.
One more.
Subramaniam Swamy again today came in with
No,
his
but why is it so important that
again
if an
today
individual is
Subramaniam
sitting
Swamy
there?
again today Subramaniam Swamy came in, it was not accepted. Now who wants to delay it? Now to my last point. At the end
You
of
have
the
not
day,
answered my question.
I am coming to that.
What is the Congress's
Which
position?
religious-
That is
one
what
second.
is the most
One
important
religious
point.
leader comes up and says, listen, if the verdict does not go in favor of this particular side, India will turn into Syria. That man's put on a mediation committee. Why? Can any Muslim leader
Okay.
say that?
Okay.
At the
Okay.
end of the day, the Congress wanted a Ram Mandir there.
Okay.
The BJP benefits politically by not having a Ram Mandir
And that was the
keeping
reason
Ram
that
Mandir
Mr.
Okay,
Kapil
okay,
Sibal,
okay. Geeta
Mr.
Bhatt.
Kapil
Geeta
Sibal
Bhatt.
in the Supreme Court went and requested the bench that the decision over this
May be deferred to
it may be deferred to post
2019.
2019.
Yes.
Was this the reason?
Was
Was this
Ka-
the reason
I-
why
I-
Ismail
one- one-
Faruqi
one-
case?
one-
The
one by
Ismail
one. Otherwise,
Faruqi
this is-
case was
Did
they were
Kapil Sibal
hell bent.
represent
Who
the
were the
Congress?
people who were
Was
hell
he
bent
representing the
on
Congress?
One- one-
reopening
You
of the
cannot
Ismail
spread fake
Faruqi
news.
case?
If Kapil
A
Sibal was
decision
representing
One
which
by
had
one,
come in
please.
1994,
Prasad
which very
Tehseen.
very clearly said
builders who went
that
to
the
jail,
mosque is
criminals.
not
One
an
more.
integral
Tehseen,
part
one-
of
Tehseen,
Islam.
one more.
Why
Lawyers
is it
don't
why it
represent
was
one
important
party.
to reopen that case? That
Look, I think we
mosque
should
is
all
an
look
integral
forward to
part
the
of
judgment
Islam.
of the Honorable Court.
That is the
It
point.
is
Who
one
was
of the
playing
pillars
politics
of
in it?
Karthik,
democracy
that's a
and the
wise
highest
political
temple of
party.
justice.
Karthik, that's a wise
Let's just wait.
suggestion. That's a wise suggestion, because while the arguments have concluded in the court, clearly arguments have only just begun in TV studios. Right.
See, you might
Discussions
have
have
seen the
only
National
And they'll
Broadcasting
continue-
Advisory
they'll
which was
continue,
issued.
Yeah.
And
The
every
advisory
side
which
will
was
shout
issued.
louder
Correct.
than the
Correct.
other
No,
side.
no, one moment. This is
Whereas
very
this
important.
is something where the Honorable Court is going to deliver its judgment.
Vedya is telling us something very important.
See,
and we
recently-
have
So we
to
must
listen
look
to
forward to that. After
Exactly.
135
Probably
years, we
yesterday
will
or
have a
today the
judgment
National
on this.
Broadcasting Authority
It's
issued
not
an
a question of
advisory
just
to
40
television
days of
channels.
marathon
Yeah.
hearings in Supreme Court.
Yeah, Karthik, I agree with you. Yes, Vedya.
So National Broadcasting Authority has issued an advisory to all television channels how to conduct debates, don't instigate people.
Correct.
And particularly some panelists, they may speak out of the way. It should not be done. They've given complete do's and don'ts. I think probably every
I
channel
think-
should
of
adhere
course,
to it.
Of course, and right here on NDTV, this will be followed to the T. And I can assure each and every viewer, Vedya, very quickly, I want to know that in terms of legal options for the stakeholders, I'm not second guessing the verdict. I'm not asking anyone to, but I'm saying that from here on, what is the legal process in this country in terms of legal options available for the stakeholders?
As Karthik rightly said, we'll have to wait for the judgment, because all options will open up once the
Absolutely.
judgment is
Once-
delivered.
once the judgment comes
is
out.
delivered. So
Once the judgment comes out.
So it's better not-
You
No,
see,
no,
in
no,
the
why-
same
why-
way,
why-
in the same way as the judgment of the Allahabad High Court was a major stepping stone in this case and a major achievement of moving ahead after 100 and almost 25 years in this case, the Honorable Supreme Court's judgment hopefully will have a sense of finality once and for all, so
Okay.
that any
Second-
issues
okay.
that people
Very
have,
quickly,
including
last
our
word.
party over the judgment of 2010,
Yeah.
will be finally resolved.
Okay.
One interesting point is,
Yeah.
so Allahabad High Court dismissed Nirmoy Akhada as well as Sunni Waqf Board because of time barred.
Yes.
So despite that, they were divided into three parts. So now they have come here.
That has been argued, Mr.
Yes.
Vaidyanathan, that has been argued
Yeah.
in Supreme
Yeah,
Court.
it has been argued in the
The
Supreme
relevant
Court.
articles have been placed by our
Yeah.
lawyers. I don't want to get into that debate.
No,
on
no,
TV.
No,
That's
one
for the
moment.
Honorable Court to
Including
decide.
arguments of Mr. Vaidyanathan.
No, I am only saying it is interesting to note what the judgment will be on these 2 points. That would be very important.
Okay. Well, thank you, all of you all, ladies and gentlemen, for joining
But
us
even,
on this discussion.
even in that respect, our Shabiyat rights remain intact.
Okay,
Can I
Karthik.
just-
No, run out of time.
Nirmal
Run out of
Akhada.
time for the benefit of our viewers. See, this is a very complex issue. So we are taking a break as of this moment. Vaidya has been very kind to us and the viewers of NDTV to explain this in an easy to understand format so that you know what we are discussing and what is this case all about. That report will come up next after a short break.
The first court case in the Ayodhya Babri Ram Janambhoomi dispute is at least 134 years old. Today, the legal battles may have finally ended, and the 40th day of the hearing had more than its fair share of drama.
On the last day, both sides, Hindu and Muslim petitioners' lawyers, repeated their arguments and demands. The Hindu side argues that the disputed site is the birthplace of Lord Ram and it can't be changed. Muslim petitioners say no temple existed at the site and Babri Masjid was built on vacant land. The mosque was demolished by a mob in 1992. Arguments were marred by acrimony. Vikas Singh, the lawyer for the Hindu Mahasabha, which is a party but not a litigant in the case, quoted a book on Ayodhya, but that was opposed by Rajiv Dhawan, lawyer for the Muslim parties. Dhawan said this book can't be relied upon by the court. Vikas Singh replied he wanted only to show a map. Dhawan said he wants to tear off the map, to which the Chief Justice said, "You, Mr. Dhawan, can do whatever you want."
Immediately, Dhawan tore the map. There were some interruptions by the advocates as the tearing sound echoed in the courtroom.
To this, the Chief Justice said, "Decorum is not maintained in court and it's being spoiled. If proceedings continue in this manner, we would just get up and walk out." After this warning, the proceedings calmed down.
This sensitive matter of religion is not just a complex legal case, but also a politically very contentious.
The Ayodhya dispute centers on 2.77 acres of land believed to be the birthplace of Lord Ram, but Muslims say it was a mosque built by the Mughal Emperor Babur. The Ram Mandir issue started becoming a major political issue in the 80s, officially making it to the agenda of the BJP at its Palampur convention in 1989. This was followed by L.K. Advani's Rath Yatra in 1990. Since then, the Mandir issue figured in every bold manifesto of the party. On the 6th of December 1992, the mosque was demolished by car sevaks.
Independent India, there has not been a single movement that has moved the entire country cutting across all linguistic and caste barriers in as effectively as this movement. जो नहीं चाहते कि हम आए, वो अगर हम ये बोलेंगे तो यही लिखेंगे, नहीं बोलेंगे तो भी यही लिखेंगे कि नहीं बोलेंगे. But he has this manifesto. It is not there, and he says that it is not there.
इस बात का कोई इनकार नहीं कर सकता है कि आजादी के 70 साल बाद सरकारों में बैठे हुए लोगों ने इस मसले को रोकने के लिए भरपूर प्रयास किया है कि प्रक्रिया को न्याय के तरीके से चलने दिया जाए. न्यायपालिका से आने के बाद सरकार की जिम्मेवारी जहां शुरू होती है, हम पूरी तरह प्रयास करने के लिए तैयार हैं.
The issue has a long legal journey as early as 1885. That's when a Mahant approached the local court to build a canopy outside the disputed structure, but the court rejected it. Then in 1949, idols of Ram Lalla were controversially placed under the central dome outside the disputed structure. 1950 onwards, various suits were filed by both Hindus and Muslims, and it finally reached the Allahabad High Court. On the 30th of September 2010, the Allahabad High Court, in a 2-to-1 majority, divided the disputed 2.77 acres into 3 parts, between the Sunni Waqf Board, the Nirmohi Akhada, and the deity Ram Lalla. But all the 3 parties moved the Supreme Court against the High Court verdict, and in 2011 the Supreme Court stayed the High Court judgment. Finally, this year, a 5-judge bench headed by the Chief Justice of India, Justice Ranjan Gogoi, began day-to-day hearings. The Hindu petitioners say, faith is the evidence Lord Ram was born here. The unshakable faith of millions in Lord Ram itself is the proof that the disputed land is Ram Janambhoomi. No Muslim even attempted to enter it, at least since 1934, and Hindus continue to worship at the disputed site from 1850. The structure before the Babri Masjid was a Hindu religious structure, and it was demolished and the mosque was built over it. The archaeological survey report says a non-Islamic structure existed, and the images found at the pillars point to a temple. Muslims can pray in any other mosque, as there are 55 to 60 mosques in Ayodhya alone. Hindus have fought for the place believed to be the birthplace of Lord Ram.
Hindu petitions also say for Muslims it's a historic mosque. All mosques are equal for Muslims, but for Hindus it is a birthplace of Lord Ram, and birthplace cannot be changed. Supreme Court should undo the historical wrong of destruction of the temple in Ayodhya to build a mosque.
Muslim petitioners countered the arguments. They told the top court there was no massive structure at the site and no Hindu motives. Just because there is a peacock or lotus does not mean they are Hindu. One view is that these institutions came into existence during the Buddhist period, but it's difficult to say when exactly idol worship started. The judgment of the Allahabad High Court is based on conjectures and preponderance of probability. How do you do a preponderance of probability of historical dates? The Hindu side had said Muslims did not pray at the site after 1934, but it was the Hindus that didn't allow the Muslims to pray at the Masjid, the lawyers argued. Installation of the idols of Hindu deities inside the dome of the Babri Masjid in 1949 was a planned, surreptitious attack. Photographs of 1959 show Allah inscribed in Arabic calligraphy. The pillars inside the structure have nothing to show the place was a temple.
They were entitled to restoration of the building as it stood on 5th December 1992. There was no claim of title by Hindus till 1989. There was no finding of destruction of the temple by the Archaeological Survey of India. Muslims were in possession of the land throughout. Claim of title by Hindus in 1886 was denied.
Beliefs travelogues cannot give Hindus the title. Possession of Muslims was never in doubt. Custom is not a mind game, and it cannot be mixed with belief. Muslims have been shrunk to the little size of 433 yards, excluding the dome, as per the High Court verdict. The top court is expected to pronounce the verdict before the 17th of November, the date the Chief Justice of India, Justice Ranjan Gogoi, retires. With A. Vaidyanathan, Chetan Bhattacharjee for NDTV.